Hey, Hound Dogs. I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
Welcome to On the Air with Power Squared. This week we're going to talk about sort of a post-mortem of the Kickstarter we just completed.
Yes.
And talk about the upcoming issues. I think we kind of did something kind of like this a few weeks ago, but can't hurt to help, right?
Right.
So, as you hopefully are aware, we had a Kickstarter that ended earlier this week.
Yes.
Like Tuesday.
Yeah, 140% funded.
Right. And so we want to thank the 39 backers that we had. Appreciate your support. And hope that you will support us again in the future, should we ever do another Kickstarter.
Yes.
So this Kickstarters always make me nervous, or anxious, I guess.
Right.
For like 30 days, I'm running around going, who's anybody going to back us or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a common feeling among people who do Kickstarter.
And this wasn't really even our Kickstarter.
No.
We were working with an on-demand printer out of Britain called artithmeric.com, and Andrew Copeland, who's there, was actually running the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And the idea was to raise money to get a French translation done so they can sell it as a
BD.
BD, thank you, in France and I guess French-speaking Belgium.
Yeah.
Where apparently graphic novels are popular.
Unlike here.
Right. So, and of course, we're hoping to get a bigger fan base for Power Squared. So this was our second Kickstarter to do a graphic novel for the first 5 issues.
Yes.
So, and I think that kind of cut in a little bit into the money we could have raised, perhaps, because 2.5 years ago we did one.
Yeah.
For not, and we tried, I think, to make it a different experience by going back and rewriting a lot of the dialogue from the first 5 issues, kind of trimming down. We were pretty wordy and stuff like that, and tried to sort of, I'll say, spruce it up a little bit.
Yes. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, howdy. So we tried to go back and sort of, enliven it, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was, hopefully it was a different experience for everybody that buys it and bought the first one. But I think the fact that it's a Kickstarter for a graphic novel and it's a Kickstarter for the graphic novel kind of worked against it a little bit.
Maybe.
And I think a lot of people that supported the first one probably weren't necessarily going to...
Raring to
go.
Buy it again.
Yeah. But it is a different, hopefully it's a different experience if you did buy the first one, which I still have a couple of copies left. We were talking last week to Doug Neff about, his book, Epic Win. The first time he took it to Comic-Con, he had 250 copies or wanted to have that many and sold like 3. So you don't want to have a garage full of your books that no one buys.
Right.
But we had bought some for a signing we did and hope to see if we could sell them.
Yeah.
And I think we sold 1, but we still have a few left over. So that's a nice little legacy, to have those.
Yeah.
And then we, because we had redone the first 5 issues, we redid the first 5 issues.
Yes.
Right. So those are a little different read too. So if you bought the first one, and I guess we need to sort of start swapping stuff out, I think, because we want to go with the new version.
Yeah.
And we also use the occasion to, I guess I'll say, christen these as SRCC Press.
Yeah.
Which is from San Ramiro Community College, where the San Ramiro Community College, where our heroes attend school. So we decided to have a university press.
Yes.
So the new issues will have that little
bug.
That's the word for it in the corner. So, so anything that you want to talk about it and relates to the Kickstarter?
Well, did we learn anything related to marketing the book?
Yeah.
I think we kind of did. But it kind of made us get pushed to be more personable with social media posts, and not just a robot coldly advertising. something?
Yeah, we tried to do some posts that were kind of talk about how we got into doing the book, who the heroes are, who the villains are, and the process of finding the first artist,
Yeah.
finding the second artist, Rachel, and finding all the colorists that we've used.
Yeah.
So we try to make it sort of at least for those first 5 issues. So we talked kind of, did some posts, kind of a little background, a little, I hope for kind of personal,
Yeah.
because it was kind of our story. So that was, I think that helped. The other thing is I learned is that if I already hadn't learned that is it's like a 24/7 kind of deal.
Yeah.
As far as trying to communicate with people. I ended up in 3 little chat rooms with other creators trying to we're in the middle of Kickstarters for their books.
Yeah.
And trying to people are pretty good about talking about other people's books in their updates and things like that, so that was kind of interesting. And I got sort of I'd say kind of sucked into a podcast,
Right.
which basically was creators talking to each other. I don't know what kind of audience there was for that. That's the other thing, is you don't know who's really watching. If you're hyping your show, is if it's other people, other creators, that's not necessarily going to help you out too much.
Right.
And so I think we just need to find better ways of getting the word out there. But I do think that we need to be more personable when we can be, as far as with posts and things, and try to expand our base beyond the 100 people that are on the mailing list and whoever. I don't know what the overlap is between people that watch us on Twitch that are signed up for the mailing list, that watch us on YouTube, that listen to us on Podbean,
Yeah.
and various other platforms. So, and then the percentage of those people that actually buy the book is so. Anyway, so if we do another Kickstarter with Artith Merrick, I think that's our plan in a couple of years, to do the next graphic novel.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be rewriting it like we did.
No.
And I kind of want a little more control over it.
In what way?
Well, I kind of got the sense, and I felt like I was doing this in the morning and at night, trying to be posting things and things like that. I kind of didn't. I kind of got the sense they kind of posted something and walked away. I was trying to put it in groups that might be interested, and trying to, I guess I'd be on shows if I could find a way of doing that, and trying to chat with other creators. And I didn't get the sense they were doing that so much.
Right.
And I think we
And we don't have time to do that, to adopt the grind set.
no. I do find these groups are sort of relentless. I'll look down on my phone, there'll be like 54 messages have gone back and forth, and it's a little nice to be kind of, I feel like I can't be a part of that so much. I don't have some of these people, this is they live from Kickstarter to Kickstarter, or that's a big part of their day, and for us it's not. Maybe it should be, but I don't see how we could survive on the Kickstarter. But anyway, right now we sent all the pages, I'll say again, to Artith Merrick, and they're going to do the graphic novels and the comic books. They actually do the printing there, and perhaps in the United States as well.
Yeah.
Because there is a printer here. So they have those files, and they are, I'm assuming, going to be fulfilling them shortly. And I guess there's surveys you have to fill out and things like that.
Yeah.
Since we didn't actually back the Kickstarter, I don't know what the surveys have gone out. I assume they have.
Yeah.
If you did get one, please fill it out.
If you don't fill out the backer survey, you probably won't get your reward.
Right.
And then you can't complain.
And I know that they're going to send us, I guess some people bought prints, and they're going to send us to sign.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And it's my understanding that those most of the things that were offered will be available post Kickstarter on artithmeric.com.
Yeah.
So there's a chance if you missed out, you can go in there and actually buy something.
Yes.
So that's kind of basically the. We had a new cover done, and so it's a different graphic novel than it was before, and I guess we have to pull the old one off.
Right.
And just, as I say, revitalize everything across the.
Can't wait to move on from the first one.
Yeah, because we've lived with that a long time.
Yeah.
And we think it gets better with 6 on. As far as the art and the writing and everything just gets better, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Rachel, who's watching, would also agree. So, post Kickstarter, post our involvement, we want to start putting out new issues.
Yes.
And by new issues, we mean issues we did 2 years ago. We're currently working on issue 21, but we have an issue. Last time we put out an issue was 12.
Yeah.
So we have some catching up to do. So let's talk a little bit about the next issues.
All right.
You want to bring up the.
I accidentally.
Oh, that's fine. It's under podcast. Isn't it fun doing a live show? So the first issue we're gonna be selling is issue 13, Lucky 13.
Yes.
It's called The Imposter.
Give me
I don't know when volume 2 will be coming out. Thanks for asking the question. I don't know. I assume it would be a year or so because I think there's another Kickstarter they want to do for another graphic novel, and then they're probably going to start back over with Sean Hall and then Delegates and then us again.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it'd be a year or so before they actually get around to doing it. Good question. I wish I had a better answer. So we're sharing issue 13.
Yes.
Covered by Rachel Wells. And then you can see now we're starting to use the SRCC press bug on them, which I think gives a little bit of a, I got something the other day from a Kickstarter with some Monarch Publishing, and I was like, I had no idea who it was. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's just, it sounds more official than here's your, SRCC.
Yeah.
Press. Anyway, so issue 13, The Imposter, part 1.
That's right.
So, what happens in issue 13?
Marty suffers identity theft.
Right. Marty is, if you've read the first 12 issues, I always feel like I'm preaching to an empty room. If you've read the first 12 issues, in the last set of issues, which is What's in a Name, Marty has hooked up with Quincy Victoria Davidson, who is the editor of The Hound Dogs Howl.
Yes.
Which is also the name of our newsletter, which is the school paper. And she is sort of driving a wedge between the Marty and Eli.
Yeah.
And that wedge gets further, I don't want to say drawn, that's the wrong word, further made, or wider, I guess, when somebody is pretending to be Marty at school.
Yeah.
And getting him in trouble with a lot of different people. And of course, Quincy thinks, who looks more like Marty than Eli?
And that's where we'll leave off that synopsis.
Right. So basically, so that's kind of the story. And the imposter is a kid who sort of a good impersonator in life. Kind of not well. He turns into kind of a Clayface here, doesn't he? We just watched that episodes of the Batman.
The 2004 cartoon.
Yeah, and this is probably somebody calling to ask us why aren't we talking more about it. Again, live podcast. These things happen. the professional. Yeah, he's professional. Oh, he's not really a professional mimic. He's just somebody that can really is really good at impersonating people.
Yeah.
Again, and it just occurred to me he's kind of like Clayface in that he can look like somebody,
Yeah.
and that's because of evil Dr. Atlas. Yeah, ringing off the hook. Anyway, so in issue 13, we discovered there's somebody impersonating him, and then in issue 14, which is the Imposter Part 2.
Is that the next one up?
That should be the next one up.
Yeah.
Also with a cover by Rachel Wells. We sort of see kind of Victoria kind of distracting Marty
Yes.
from what's going on. And we
Tempting.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and Marty. I guess we set up that Marty has sort of a kind of relationship going with Mocha. And,
Yeah.
and he kind of feels like here's a human girl that's interested in me. I think I need to at least pursue it.
Yeah.
And so Quincy, kind of works a little magic on poor Marty, and Eli decides he needs to kind of bring his brother back into the fold, and he actually goes out and gets help from Professor Theorem,
Yes.
who we all remember from Magical issues 8 and 9, that she can travel with it through the Napoleon Theorem.
Yeah.
So he draws that on a whiteboard and kind of summons her that way, I guess.
Yeah.
And she knows what's kind of going on and tries to help. And Mocha wants to get Marty back as well because he knows it's kind of not so much for the relationship, but just it's kind of toxic for him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what he's in for, and he's getting kind of hoodwinked, and they're trying to bring him back. And so they have to sort of bring down Pedro.
Yeah.
And-
And we'll leave it there.
So, if you like Dr. Atlas, he returns.
Yes.
And it's sort of it's kind of a feel-good story at the end,
Yeah.
I think. So it's let's leave it there. And one of the things that I guess has always kind of bugged me, obviously, from we had our first signing in like 2019,
Yeah.
and somebody who we gave a free copy to read it and said, well, if she could do it herself, why does she need them? Which is sort of like a lot of superhero stories would disappear if that was the case. And so we decided we should explain the backstory
Yeah.
of how Mocha met the boys. And so we decided that it was a good chance to sort of do a one-shot, which is sort of unusual for us. And it's called How They Met. And we get into sort of a little bit of the background. And again,
That flashback that we have early on in the story. This is the full.
right, very good. Yes, it's the full flashback.
Yeah.
It gives you more details. We introduce Mocha as a Kasune and her little trials and tribulations. So I think it's and how she kind of used the boys to her own advantage
Yeah.
and gave them something at the same time. It's kind of a twisted little story. You think about it. But so it takes place when they first met.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of says it all there, doesn't it? This is, I think I really like this cover.
Yeah.
Again, Rachel Wells did it, and it's it's sort of her in the world. We're sort of trying to bring in the yokai into the story more,
Yeah.
and this was a way of also doing that. So we introduce a lot of different yokai,
Yeah.
and then that continues in future issues.
Yes.
We do. You look at me like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Oh, okay. Rachel was saying she really enjoys how Julia did
Colors there.
hair. Now, I've been remiss in saying Julia, who's been on the show several times,
Yeah.
went with us on our most recent book signing at Golden Apple back in September. 13 is her first issue to work on.
Yeah.
So we've had her around for a couple of years, and we've never shown anything that she's actually done. So
Well, to be fair, she expected that to happen.
yeah, I know. I just feel like, I appreciate the fact that she went with us to the signing, even though she hadn't worked on the issues we were trying to hype. But this is finally getting to her stuff, and I think she brings different things to the table than we had from previous colorists.
Yes.
And obviously, she does hair well. So it's kind of a chance to finally put a little spotlight on her.
Yes.
And I guess maybe when we get closer to actually putting it out, we should have a show with everybody talking about issue 13.
That'll be good.
Yeah. And I always had the idea for maybe a show at some point is to try to bring all the colorists together.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Because again, there's one we've never met. So that'd be kind of interesting. But because I enjoyed when we did actually meet up with Paige.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting conversation, and it might be interesting to see. And we've had Nina on the show, and it's just they've never all met each other. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun, and they could talk about how awful we are to work with. I always feel like we're like ruining them for other comic books.
That's
or something.
not
I know. It's just when I'm moving on. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so we should have a party. Yes, and it'd be virtual for you, I'm afraid, since you're in Philadelphia. Anyway, so those, and we want to start putting those out soon.
Yeah.
Do we have I'm thinking in May, put out the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's post, well, it's almost May now, but we actually we used to kind of wait for Comixology.
But now we don't have to.
Yeah, they're kind of, where they've kind of dropped independent comic books, as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
At least they've dropped ours. So yeah, we're not dependent on them anymore, so we can put it out pretty quickly, I think, across all the platforms.
Yeah.
We just have
Camera would get into focus.
It's live. That's fun. Actually, we've gotten into the witness protection program. Weird, I don't know what makes it go out of focus.
Yeah.
I'll sit back like this. But anyway, so that's kind of what do you think, May or June? Or
May is fine. We just need to figure out the exact date.
yeah, and we actually probably need to do some test runs.
Yeah.
And we have another unboxing video.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Content.
Yes. I'm always looking at that. Who can we have on the show? What can we talk about? Anyway, so we'll of course announce that. We'll have the team back to talk about it. Now they all can talk about it because they've all been on the same issue.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. And I think that's pretty much everything we want to talk about.
All right. So if you are watching this on YouTube later and you like this sort of thing, leave a like and consider subscribing and ringing that bell.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.